They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now, the young white girl comes along, and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark, it's about what she represents. My point is,
just when it finally seemed like the WNBA was about to get everything right, poised to launch into a new era by riding the Caitlin Clark rocket ship straight into sports relevance and serious financial success, they stumbled hard and face-planted. And by stumbled, I mean Caitlin Clark herself. Yes, the league's one-woman ratings phenomenon just landed on the injury list, shaking the entire foundation they've been desperately trying to build.
The Indiana Fever announced that star Caitlin Clark will be out at least 2 weeks with a left quad strain. Clark reported some pain in her leg Saturday after the team's loss to the New York Liberty. She subsequently underwent an MRI and was diagnosed with the strain on Monday.
Now, the entire basketball world is in full-blown meltdown mode. Sports talk shows are spiraling, social media is in flames, and StephenASmith? Oh, he's practically floating in outrage. His fury is laser-focused on the WNBA bullies, Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, and most especially Angel Reese, who still seems to think people tune in for her, too. If you're rolling with StephenA on this one, hit the comments with "baby goat over baby giraffe" and let's go.
Clark was the WNBA's Rookie of the Year last season and a first-team All-WNBA selection. So far, she's averaging 19 points and a league-leading 9.3 assists through 4 games this season. I could give a damn about that last part. I don't care about her leading the league in assists. I don't care about the points that she's averaging because I already know that the young lady can ball. She is special. What I'm interested in is what somebody tweeted me and asked about earlier today.
Caitlin Clark, the woman who took women's basketball from niche background noise to absolute must-see television, is now benched with a quad strain. Minimum 2 weeks. Too long, Clarkless weeks where the WNBA will scramble to convince everyone that everything's fine while the product on the court quietly collapses faster than Angel Reese's contested layup. Imagine the league's brightest star sidelined in street clothes while the TV ratings nosedive like a rock tossed into a kiddie pool.
Fortunately though, the celebration in the WNBA, it was cut short yesterday afternoon as WNBA players learned the harsh lesson, be careful what you wish for. Headline at the New York Post. Caitlin Clark sidelined with Indiana Felines announcing shock injury. Keyword, shock. This injury was shocking, but not for reasons that you may think.
And who was the first to absolutely lose it over this? Naturally, StephenASmith. ESPN's human megaphone didn't just comment, he detonated. While others around the league politely shrugged, Stephen A. charged in like a one-man firestorm, torching every bad take and every short-sighted decision that got us here. Let's be honest, someone had to say it. Everyone else is too busy whispering and pretending Caitlin Clark isn't the sole reason their paychecks are clearing right now.
Fanatics also reported a 100% increase in sales for WNBA-specific merchandise. It started with Caitlin Clark. And so now that we know all of this, and we've known that for months, now we get to turn around and look and see what exactly is it that the league will do knowing that she's out for the next 2 weeks. I'm not saying I know for sure what's going to happen, but I haven't.
Stephen A. didn't just raise his voice, he took center stage like a man who's been stockpiling receipts for months, just waiting for the WNBA to trip up. While the league's executives were off in Fantasyland, pretending Caitlin Clark isn't the one keeping the lights on, Stephen A. came armed with facts. He broke it down with such brutal clarity, it was like watching a math class explode in fireworks. His point? Oh, you think the WNBA can survive without Caitlin Clark? Cool story, bro. Check the numbers and try not to cry.
Clark, Indiana led the league in attendance both at home and on the road. The Fever averaged 17,035 fans at home and over 15,000 on the road. 4 teams moved home games to bigger arenas when Indiana came to town to accommodate more fans. That's about Caitlin Clark. How do we know this? Attendance for the entire league was up nearly 50% last year. According to data from across the timeline, and Indiana led all teams with an average attendance of 17,035. That was up 319% from the year earlier.
So, let's dive into those numbers. Caitlin Clark's games this season are pulling an average of 1.178 million viewers. Games without her? Just 394,000. That's not a dip, that's a canyon. That's falling off the edge of the earth. And yet, players like Angel Reese still seem confused about why Clark gets more camera time. Maybe it's because Caitlin doesn't handle the ball like it's a live grenade and actually gives people a reason to tune in.
We'll find out. We don't know yet, but I'm going to be really, really interested in seeing, Molly, what kind of effect this has on the WNBA's ratings, because if for some reason there is a precipitous drop-off, then everybody needs to stand down and recognize the fact that the speculation or the assertions and assumptions about her being the golden goose is valid.
Stephen A. didn't just wake up angry, this was months in the making. He's watched the WNBA fumble golden opportunity after golden opportunity. He's seen legends like Cheryl Swoops throwing shade like they're working part-time as beach umbrellas, acting as if Caitlin Clark isn't the very reason the league's finally in the spotlight. And let's not forget Angel Reese, who seems determined to turn every moment into her personal America's Next Jealous Teammate audition.
Bring back Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player set it.
Okay.
Right? So if Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. But because there's a COVID year, and then there's another year, you know what I mean? So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record?
And then there's Commissioner Kathy Engelbert, whose entire strategy surrounding Caitlin Clark could basically be summed up as, thanks for the ratings, I guess. It's like discovering a genie in a bottle and using your one wish to ask for a slightly bigger bottle. Now, with Clark sidelined, Stephen A. is practically shouting "I told you so" from every rooftop, and honestly, he's earned the right to.
You're asking about Caitlin a lot. You bring up other rookies as well.
No league's ever about one player. That player could get hurt or whatever. So I think it's just to give recognition that in sports, people watch for compelling content and rivalries. And you can't do that alone as one person.
He even delivered some vintage wisdom in the middle of his tirade. If Caitlin Clark is the gravitational force pulling people to the WNBA, and her absence proves it, then everybody needs to stop fighting it and ride the wave. Translation: stop resisting, stop pretending Caitlin Clark is the show. Either jump on board or get comfortable playing in half-empty arenas, wondering where all the fans went. Because the buzz is moving with her, whether you like it or not.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season, because this is Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games included?
Let's rewind the tape, because the build-up to this disaster has been nothing short of a masterclass in league mismanagement. Caitlin Clark's debut game this season against the Chicago Sky drew an astonishing 2.7 million viewers, the highest-rated WNBA game on ESPN ever. That wasn't a lucky break. That was the arrival of a generational star who didn't just bring hype, she brought hard receipts, massive viewership, jersey sales that blew past half the league combined, and attention the WNBA has been chasing for decades. So, how did the league respond? Did they shower her with love? Did they launch a full-throttle marketing blitz? No. They rolled out press releases so bland, they could have been written by Angel Reese's PR intern. It's like the league was afraid to admit that one player was doing more for their brand than a decade of group effort.
rising tide lifts all boats. And if this is the magnetic traction that draws viewers to the WNBA, and her absence over the next 2 weeks due to that quad strain is providing further evidence of that, then everybody needs to accept it, stand down, and ride that wave. I'm going to be really interested in seeing how the ratings are going to look without her over the next 2 weeks. Let's make sure we come back and ask me this exact same question after she's been.
StephenASmith saw this coming a mile away. He watched as Caitlin Clark's star skyrocketed, while the league quietly tried to dim her light. He saw the veteran side-eyeing her like she just snatched the last slice of pizza from the locker room. And now, the WNBA is scrambling in full-blown panic mode, desperately trying to fill the void left by the one player who could pull 1 million extra viewers just by lacing up her sneakers. That's the point. Clark was never just another top draft pick. She was the WNBA's golden ticket, and instead of framing it, they tried to downplay it. Now that the ticket's out of circulation, they're finally waking up to what she's actually worth. Meanwhile, StephenAS just sitting back like, I've been telling y'all, you don't build a castle and then act surprised when the queen moves in.
Know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm, and they resented it because they saw the marketing prowess that she had. They ignored the fact that you got chartered flights because of this girl. They ignored the fact that ratings were going through the roof because of this girl. Instead, they resented it because they said, yo, we were doing stuff long before Caitlin Clark got here, and y'all wasn't paying attention then. But now, the young white girl comes along, and y'all want to sit up there and shower all of this praise and all of this attention that was earned before she ever came along. The resentment is understandable, but it's not about Caitlin Clark, it's about what she represents. My point is, grow.
Here's the bottom line, the WNBA had the golden goose, and they treated her like she was just another bird. Stephen A. isn't just mad, he's delivering the reality check this league desperately needs. Clark is the draw. She's the face. She's the reason sponsors are calling. And if she's not protected, appreciated, and elevated, the WNBA won't just lose a player, it'll lose its entire moment. StephenASmith has been the only voice with the guts to call it exactly how it is. While everyone else danced around egos and clung to outdated narratives, he's been shouting the truth since day one. Clark wasn't just bringing attention, she was revolutionizing the league. And while some ex-players whispered their petty jealousy, Stephen A. recognized her real value from the jump. The resentment? Oh, it's been loud. And Stephen A. made sure the whole world heard it.
Look, I think Stephen A. is 100% correct on this. At the end of the day, you already see people actually saying, hey, I'm not watching for 2 weeks. I'm not tuning in for 2 weeks. And it's really bad news for the Mystics and the Sky, because both of those teams move those games to big arenas. So it's like, now that she's not playing, what is that attendance going to look like? The viewership, right? The viewership is going to plummet. I already know, because majority of the people that's watching the Indiana Fever wants to see Caitlin Clark. And sad to say it, a lot of them only want to see Caitlin Clark. They don't really care about the...
Now that prophecy is unfolding right before our eyes. Clark isn't missing some throwaway Tuesday night game that nobody remembers. She's out for primetime matchups, the kind ESPN builds entire broadcasts around. That highly anticipated rematch with Angel Reese? Gone. Multiple nationally televised games? Gone. The financial hit? Immediate and brutal. This isn't just Indiana losing a star. This is the entire WNBA losing its gravitational center. Clark wasn't just scoring points, she was the reason fans filled arenas, the reason people tuned in, the reason jerseys flew off the shelves. Without her, the Indiana Fever looks like just another team clinging to relevance in a sea of anonymity.
Everybody was moving Caitlin Clark games to bigger facilities because everyone was selling tickets. There were ratings. It was a ratings bonanza. Now with Caitlin Clark not playing, what do? Well, when you change your situs, guess what? You can't change it back.
Yep.
All
The tickets are literally half the price, and there are entire sections of the stadium that have not sold anything.
But what really has Stephen A. fuming, what's got him absolutely cooking, is that this was completely preventable. Injuries happen in sports, no doubt. But when you let your most valuable player get hacked, slammed, elbowed, and borderline assaulted on a nightly basis with no real protection? That's not just bad luck. That's gross negligence. The hits Clark's been taking this season wouldn't look out of place in an NFL highlight reel, and yet the WNBA's response? Shrug it off. Part of the game, they say. Meanwhile, Stephen A. is probably breaking remotes in his living room screaming, "Protect her." And he's right. You can't let the one player keeping your league alive get treated like some random rookie. That's not just disappointing, it's malpractice.
2.2 million average viewers
tuned in to watch Caitlin Clark and the Fever take on the Liberty.
Peaking at 3.2 million viewers is crazy for the WNBA, even for the Fever.
Became the 6th most watched WNBA regular season.
And the numbers? Oh, they back him up. Even in a recent loss to the Liberty, Caitlin Clark still drew 2.22 million viewers on CBS, the second highest WNBA rating ever on the network. That's during a regular season game. Unheard of. But now that she's out, those numbers are about to crater. Imagine the panic in the WNBA's marketing department. Well, we had 2 million viewers, but, our star's on the bench now. Sponsors are watching. Networks are watching. Everyone knows what's coming. And Stephen A. Oh, he's ready. He's already got the receipts lined up for the inevitable ratings collapse, and you know he's going to remind the WNBA at every step that they did this to themselves.
She came into the league last year with no break whatsoever between the college game and the pro game and did her thing. Ended up as an all-star, ended up being 4th in the league in MVP voting, was the clear winner for Rookie of the Year. No competition whatsoever in that regard when it was really all said and done. We know what she brings to the table. But people wanted to hate because why? You had a bunch of players in this league that watched this young white girl come along and take the league by storm, and they resented it because they saw the marketing.
What stings the most? It didn't have to be this way. If the league had simply embraced what was obvious from the beginning, that Clark is the engine powering this entire operation, things could have been different. Instead, they treated her rise like an awkward accident, like something to be hidden or apologized for. Meanwhile, Clark was out here packing arenas, smashing viewership records, and rewriting the perception of women's basketball overnight. And now that she's sidelined? All the people who downplayed her are about to learn the hard way just how wrong they were.
Attendance figures. Ladies and gentlemen, that doesn't come courtesy of a league. It comes courtesy of the players that play in the league. And in her case, she was the most popular, which means she could have helped your bottom line, which means you should have seen that from day one and maximized it. But you didn't do it.
Clark wasn't just good for the league, she was changing it. People who never gave the WNBA a second glance were suddenly glued to their screens. Entire families built their summer plans around Fever games. But now, with Clark sidelined, those same fans? They're already checking out. Stephen A. sees what's really at stake here. This isn't just about a strained muscle, it's about whether the WNBA is smart enough to recognize and protect a once-in-a-generation star before it's too late. Clark is the bridge between the league's struggling past and its potentially explosive future. Without her, the WNBA goes right back to begging for airtime and praying people show up. Clark isn't just a player, she's a walking headline, a ticket sales machine, a franchise in sneakers. And now, that bridge she built? Temporarily closed for repairs. This isn't just a setback. It's a full-on crisis.
You literally cannot make this up. When she's not playing, ticket prices, merchandise sales plummet. Viewership declines when she is not suited up in uniform. The numbers do not lie, guys. Caitlin Clark is the biggest box office attraction in the WNBA, period. Facts over.
And let's be real, this was all preventable. With the way Clark's been targeted, cheap shots, hard fouls, borderline assaults, you'd think the league would have stepped in to protect their biggest asset. But no. They let her get knocked around, hiding behind weak statements and soft penalties. And now, Stephen A. is front and center, bullhorn in hand, screaming, "I told you so," while the WNBA scrambles to fix what's already broken. Clark's fans? Furious. Many are already pledging to boycott the league until she's back. Social media is flooded with posts from viewers flat out refusing to watch another WNBA game until Caitlin Clark is on the court. And honestly, who can blame them? If you started watching because of Clark, why stick around when she's not there? Watching the WNBA without her is like ordering pizza and getting handed a bowl of plain lettuce. The flavor's gone. The excitement's gone. The special ingredient is gone.
Became the first rookie with at least 25 points, 5 assists, and 5 rebounds in a playoff game. That was Caitlin Clark. Became the 4th different rookie to play all 40 minutes in a playoff game. That was her. I'm looking at other things. 6 different league television partners. This is last year. This is last season. Because this is the Caitlin Clark that we're talking about. 6 different league television partners set viewership records that year, her rookie year, for its highest viewed WNBA game. Do you know every one of those games, including the Indiana Fever?
So now StephenASmith, the only one bold enough to say what everyone else is thinking, is waiting. Waiting for those ratings to nosedive. And when they do, he'll be ready, with the stats, the commentary, and the fire to remind the WNBA that this is their mess. When you ignore your biggest star, let her get hit like she's a crash test dummy, and act like everything's fine, the fallout is on you. The WNBA caught lightning in a bottle with Caitlin Clark. She was that lightning. And now that she's out, the storm's about to hit. The next few weeks won't just prove Stephen A. right, they'll reveal what kind of league the WNBA really wants to be. One that protects and elevates its stars? Or one that watches them walk away while there's still time to save the game? If you're rolling with Stephen A., drop baby goat over baby giraffe in the comments, like, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you never miss a beat. Click the video on the screen and we'll see you in the next one.